What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Bringing It to the Ring podcast. Today, we're doing Who Should Dethrone Every Current AEW Champion. Myself, Wolf, Willie was going to be here, but he could not make it. So, unfortunately, it's just going to be us two for today. Hopefully, we'll get him back in on the next video that we do, or podcast episode that we do. But a lot of these titles have definitely changed up a bit, just at least two of them at the very least over this past weekend. Because we did see the AEW title change hands and the international title change hands as well. So we're gonna go through every champion. We're gonna talk about the landscape of the title and who ultimately should be dethroning the current champion. So, Wolf, which title would you like to start with, and how did you even feel about before we even get to that? How did you feel about Wrestle Dream this past weekend?
Wrestle Dream was very good. I've seen some people not like it for some reason. They said like most of it was kind of but I disagree. I think the whole pay-per-view was incredible. Uh, Definitely one of the better pay-per-views of the year, probably one of the best. Um, it was just all good. Even like the worst quote unquote worst matches were not really bad at all. Like I know it's a trend that uh everyone loves dunking on Chris Jericho, but Mark
Yeah,
Briscoe versus Chris Jericho was actually honestly a good match, like a passable match. Obviously, everything else was better. Except Jack and Shibata, which was the only issue with Jack and Shibata was it was too short and outclassed by the double return of MJF and Adam
yeah,
Cole. Um,
agreed.
but like the match itself, I honestly still enjoyed it just because Shibata is that good and Jack is
He's
improved. So
improving. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely was enjoyable, but I can definitely see why it was not that great. Why it's forgettable because the important stuff happened afterward.
I kind of would agree that the pay was good. I think the only thing biggest gripe that I would say that came out of that show is the fact that they had the Ring of Honor title co-main event. When you look at the current match card, I feel like that could have went somewhere else. I feel like the women's match was really good. A lot of the matches were really good. The triple threat for the international title was
Yeah,
good. Um, the tag team titles was really good, especially because of the story that they had going into it,
I'm
for
gonna be
sure.
real. The tag title match exclude like beyond like just below the triple threat tag title match was match of the night. Other than
I
triple
honestly
threat,
can agree with you with that. I feel like
yeah,
the story between both teams
yeah.
was really
Like
good.
obviously the triple threat was just undisputedly the best match of the night. Like that was clearly
Yeah,
the best match of the night. But that tag title match, wow, that I was actually, and I knew it would be because I know that Bucks and Private Party work so well with each other. It was
yeah.
finally the Young Bucks match I have been excited for since All In last year.
I can
Um,
agree with you for that one. I can definitely agree
yeah,
because if you look at the chemistry both teams have going back into like when they first had AW in its inception, they were like they started the tag team division. They made it what it was. So I feel like circling back to the two teams that were like your first two teams in the AW division, I think was a great callback for sure. I would say like the tag team division, the tag team match was cool. The women's match between Mariah May and Willow was really good too. I really think that with everything that we've been seeing from those two, I think those are definitely the future of your division, especially for Willow. I mean, she's probably one of the very few that's really like a true natural babyface in the entire
I
AEW division.
honestly was shocked we got this matchup so early, and because honestly, I like before Wrestle Dream, I really thought, okay, they're gonna make Mariah transitional, because like, what do you like? There's not much for her beyond
To really do,
Tony. They
and then
didn't
maybe
really
Mina.
like,
That's really
yeah,
it.
maybe
Mina is
Mina, but like, I don't think they're gonna actually have Mina and Tony, so or Mina and Mariah. So
yeah.
honestly, I really thought Willow was going to be someone to take the title off Mariah, but we decided against it. I'm like, okay, there's
Nah,
like one person left.
because apparently they're planning on having her hold it until February because I think they're doing a show in Australia. and
which
I
is a
think she's
rematch against Tony.
so apparently she's probably gonna be dropping the title back to Tony in February. So she's gonna have it for throughout the rest of the year.
I wouldn't
I
do
don't know
that.
how. I don't think they need to have the title involved. I think it should be
Tony doesn't
strictly
need
just a blood
to
feud.
get the title again.
Um,
She's done enough.
maybe Jamie Hayter. Maybe Jamie Hayter is
Yeah,
probably
I
could
think
be the
Hater is
one.
the only.
But we're
Well,
gonna get into it. We're gonna get into these titles. Starting with the Continental Championship, currently held by Kazuchika Okada. We did see at Wrestle Dream that his next challenger looks to be Kyle O'Reilly. Now we know that match is really, really going to be good. We know Kyle
yeah,
O'Reilly when
but
he's
on
in the
Dynamite we
position.
do have Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Rocky Romero versus the Elite, consisting of
Mhm.
Okada and the Bucks. So
Maybe that sets up their singles match possibly at Full Gear. But
yeah,
Wolf, who do you think is going to be the one to dethrone Kazuchika Okada?
mm. they it's really like it would be considered probably hard to determine given the fact that there's plenty of challengers and
Yeah,
uh, it's still a very new belt. Um, as much as I would love for it to be Kyle O'Reilly, just because I want him with the belt, I already have uh, a place in mind for Kyle. So I will have to say, based on what I personally believe, I will say Kota Ibushi.
that's gonna be that's a good name. That's a definitely a good pick. I think to take the title. I think they've had some matches. They had some matches in New Japan for
Yep.
sure. So having that be in AEW, I think that can be rejuvenate. I think AEW just a little bit and
Yeah.
definitely add a little bit more prestige and importance to the title just because you have two of the very best to ever do it. Go for that championship, for sure. I think for me, as much as I would love to see Kota Ibushi go after it, I think he's probably gonna do something else for some reason. My personal person, I think that's probably gonna be the one to dethrone Kota, not Okada. Is probably gonna be Orange Cassidy. I just think Orange Cassidy is somebody that I think given the time to, I think he's definitely going to be put in position to go after that title once. Well, at least go after that title. I mean, we know what he's been capable of doing after going for the international. Um, so I think only time will tell if they're actually going to do it. But I think I'm gonna have to go Orange Cassidy on this one. And plus, they really were kind of amping up and putting him in position to be very serious. I think so. They're setting him up for that in the near future. So I wouldn't mind seeing him and Okada go for it. I think have they had a match as of late with AEW? I think they've crossed
Orange
paths, but I
and
think
Okada?
Okada. I don't think they've ever crossed paths, but I think we
No,
may
I
get a
think
stare
I
off.
mean, they crossed paths in the Casino Gauntlet, but at All In, but otherwise, like a regular match, no.
Okay. So I think that's definitely gonna have to be who I'm going with for that. The next title that we're going to talk about is the Trios Championships currently held by Blackpool's uh Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta. The recently heel turn on Brian Danielson at Wrestle Dream, aligning
Sort
himself
of
with
heel turn, because there was
yeah.
video clips of Wheeler still having tension with Claudio. So I am interested to see how they explore that. But uh,
Yes.
how about you start us off since I.
Okay. Now this one's a very tricky because I feel like in AEW right now, like I feel like a lot of the tag teams that or the trios, I feel like have already gotten a run with it, and I don't see them beating them. I really feel like whoever's gonna win is probably gonna be a babyface trio. I don't think it's gonna be House of Black as much as I would love to see them do it. You
I
know
mean, they
what?
could turn House of Black face, but I don't think
I
it's
don't think that's
necessary.
gonna happen.
I think just
I
keep
would.
them between
There's
it.
two. There's really two factions that I think are going to probably beat them for the trios championship. The first is
Yeah.
the conglomeration of Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and then maybe like a Ricky Romero. I could see that possibly happening, but I don't think there's going to be them. I think we're going to see the Bang Bang Gang probably be the ones to take out Blackpool and become your next trios champions because we kind of already had that stuff that between them and then the patriarchy where they kind of won the tag titles and stuff like that. And then it's like they pretty much had them relinquish them. So I feel like maybe you could put the titles back on them and you actually give them another reign and actually a legit reign and not take the titles off of them this time around. So I think the match quality and the in ring psychology between both teams I think would really be good. So I'm gonna say that's gonna be your next trios champion, none other than Bang Bang Gang.
Interesting. That is a very good choice, I say. Uh, well, you did mention one team that I will have as my pick. I will say the conglomeration of Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Rocky Romero, simply because Mark has the ROH World Title, and
Yeah,
I honestly, I mean, they could bring in Ishii, but I don't think so. I think it
they don't
doesn't
think
make
they're gonna
sense,
have to.
especially since Ishii is not signed to AEW, despite how much he's been in AEW. So I think Romero, uh, OC, and Kyle would be great fresh face for being trios champions, and I could see it's reasonable, especially since they've already started kind of teasing having uh at least Orange kind of be opposed to BCC, so
There's
I could
another
see.
faction in there. There's really
Yeah,
another faction that I've thought about that we're not really thinking about. What if it's the Undisputed Kingdom? Because it's a
no, no,
possibility that they might want to go for it. Possibly. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I just thought that was another team that probably would be
it
in the
could
conversation.
it could work, but I don't think it's a good idea.
Nah, not
Because I
really
don't
right
think
now.
it makes sense for them to like go after BCC unless Adam is still first like leading them basically, and
Yeah, and we
maybe
don't really know where Wardlow is right now. So it's
Wardlow's
like,
injured.
oh, he's injured.
Yeah.
What's the severity of his injury, if you
I
know?
think it's like a leg injury, like it's a knee, not knee, his ankle injury. I think.
So it's an ankle injury. Okay,
I
so
think.
usually those would probably be out for like at least a couple months because he's been out at least since like the summer. So hopefully he's
Yeah.
back by the end of the year. Um, the next title that we're gonna be talking about, currently held by the new international champion Konosuke Takeshita, who won the match, won the title, pinned Osprey, and this was literally one of my favorite match of the night. Like all three guys really killed it. Ricochet killed it. Oh, Osprey killed it. Takeshita killed it. The spot where Takeshita, I think he had like a pile driver on Ricochet through the table. I was like, that's it for Ricochet. And then you had Kyle Fletcher turn on Osprey, and it handed the title to I think that was really cool. I think now with him as champion, it's really gonna create some compelling stories. I really feel like. I don't. I'm gonna let you go first on this one, Wolf. Who do you think is gonna be the guy that's gonna take him down and be the next champion? Because he just won it.
This is really hard for me, especially since I really think uh this is a long time coming for Takeshita. I was literally saying if Takeshita didn't ultimately get his hands on a title, on a singles title, he should walk out of AEW. And now he's literally like on Saturday, he is defending against Josh Alexander.
He's
That's
defending
his
that title
first
against.
time in
He's
Maple
defending.
Leaf Pro Wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, I know that
his,
match is really gonna be
yeah,
good.
his first title defense is not even against someone signed to AEW. It's against TNA wrestler Josh Alexander.
You know that match is really gonna be good.
It's going to
That
be
match.
incredible, and I'm
That's
so happy. And Callis and Takeshita both said, he's going to be like a true international champion, going all over everywhere to defend it. I'm like
that's what we
at
need.
that point, Takeshita should have it for a year, like full year.
I feel like his title reign, as much as I would think it would probably be long. However, I don't think it will be. I do think he's gonna get like a little bit of time, maybe like because we have like two more pay per views this year. We have Worlds End in December, and then we have Full Gear next month. So I can
Yeah.
see him holding it for like until like maybe Worlds End, so it gives him like 2 months at least, or maybe they want to
Yeah,
drag it out
no,
at
I
least to
I say he has to keep it until like
Revolution. I think he
minimum,
can.
no, not even minimum double or nothing.
It just really depends on how many people they can get to really clamor for him
Yeah,
and
it really
really put up against
depends.
him.
I guess, but Imma be real. I would say, see, the thing is, there's not many people that I think could reasonably take it from Takeshita. And I mean, there is one person that has been in that title picture, but I think it is kind of soon for him, that being Ricochet. However, he's not my pick. I just think it's too soon for Ricochet. Maybe if ultimately, I mean, maybe things could change if Takeshita holds it for a while, then
Yeah.
ultimately Ricochet takes it. Maybe. Um, I'm gonna be real though. I'm gonna do something a little different.
Hmm.
It's probably crazy of me to say, probably a little delusional, but he's been having a bit of an undefeated streak lately. Hologram.
I mean, I can see it. I can see it definitely because he is on a run right now. He's been on that.
Yeah, he's on a
Yeah,
roll.
he's
They've
14
been
and 0 right now. So I can see it.
15, actually.
He's 15. Okay,
Yeah,
so he's
because
15 and
Mortos
0.
was 15.
Okay, I mean, I would love to see him have a reign. Some would say maybe Osprey go runs the gauntlet and wins it back. Maybe I don't think. I think with him losing, I think this is kind of like him moving up, I would say, to maybe like the main event scene eventually after he finishes this feud with the Don Callis family, because we know that's gonna probably run throughout the rest of the year, or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, if you look at a lot of the talent, I mean, there's one guy that I know he just came in or came back. Um, I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon, of course, but if he's able to, I'd say maybe Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole and
Yeah.
Takeshita can really put on a great match. And I think if once Adam Cole finishes this stuff that he's doing with um MJF, I think maybe you put him in that title scene. I think he can be a great international champion. We know the match quality he's able to put on. You can kind of have like the Don Callis family versus the Undisputed Kingdom, and with
Right.
and stuff like that. You can kind of have them going back and
There's
forth.
so many people. I mean, there's so many like understandable people that
Yeah,
could reasonably take it, but they haven't really been put out there, like built up towards that. So like, there's
yeah,
no way to really. This is like the one championship that we have no idea who could possibly beat
yeah.
Takeshita because they
Because
haven't
he just won it,
even.
so
Yeah, because like they could have Jay White go after it. They
that's
could
true.
have um maybe Hook go after it, although probably
Not
a bit
anytime
soon.
soon,
They
maybe, like,
could
late
they could
next year.
have, like, if Eddie comes back, they could maybe have Eddie go after it. Um,
Yeah,
they could
because
have
he's
like
still injured, isn't he?
even like lesser, like even like lesser like opportunist, like people who have not gotten as much opportunity, such as like Jeff Jarrett, for example. They could, uh, hell, they could give it to Shibata. Maybe they could do Shibata versus Takeshita. Would probably be crazy. Um,
I would not mind that at all.
they could even give it to like, uh, if they turned House of Blackface, they could give it to Malachi or Buddy.
I would love that.
Or
I
if
would
they really want to push Brody up,
give him
uh,
the title, yeah.
give him the title. Yeah, they could. Um, what's it called? Who did I just think of that could work? Joe. If Joe comes back,
Samoa Joe,
Joe.
yeah.
Yeah, they could do Joe.
Oof.
So there's plenty of people.
If we were just talking about him earlier, if Kyle O'Reilly wants to go after it, he could. He could be
Yeah,
a
O'Reilly
perfect name.
Takeshita would be great, but
It really just I feel like it's kind of hard to tell, like you said, just because he just
yeah,
won it
I
in
think
like the
we'll get
landscape
probably
championship.
more answers as in the next couple of weeks at least. But
Yeah, as we get head to full gear, we'll probably know some more about what the landscape of that title is probably going to be. The
hell, it
next
might not even
title,
be someone from AEW. It could be like,
maybe somebody
what
from New Japan. I mean, they're doing this New Japan and AEW show, so maybe somebody there decides to
could
win.
be Ishii, could be Naito, could be um
Could you imagine Zack Saber
Shota
Jr.?
Umino.
Because Zack Sabre Jr. just won the IWGP World Championship. Could
Yeah,
you imagine those two going at it? I think that match would really be good.
that would be crazy.
The next title that we're going to be talking about is the TBS Championship, currently held by Mercedes Money. Um, I don't know. This her title reign hasn't really been the best. I'm just gonna be honest. It's not because of her. I just feel like the lack of talent that really posed as a threat to her. I mean, off the bat, you could say probably Camille, right? That she's
Yeah,
probably going to be somebody in the running to probably win the championship. But I'm going to say probably the person that's going to take it is maybe Willow. I think maybe Willow decides to circle back around to this, and maybe you have those two feud again, and she beats her. I really think she's the only one I think outside of Camille that really has been built up enough to look like when she goes up against someone like a Mercedes Money, she's probably one of the only few that we can think of that's really going to pose a threat to her and probably be able to win. So I'm going to say
yeah.
that's probably going to be your next TBS champion because this will probably make her a two-time champ, I believe, if she
Yeah.
does win it. So
So the issue with Mercedes, it really has been just a matter of kind of unlucky matchup, like bad days, um, and not the best like defense wise, not the best of talent. Like we do have like all in was honestly a disaster. It was a dream match, and yet it was also a disaster. Just like we got the dream matchup, we got Mercedes versus Britt. Now, please, Tony Khan, do not ever let them look at each other ever again. Like
yeah, the Britt Baker's
you
feud is not
already
going to look good.
Britt, in my opinion, is already in question of if she belongs in AEW anymore. Because right
Yeah,
now her wrestling is not it.
it's really not
Um,
there.
yeah,
I don't know. People looked at her as like being the Charlotte of AEW, but the difference is Charlotte has been known to put on
Charlotte
some great
is
matches,
staying talented, and Britt is not.
insanely, and Britt is not. It's like Britt is like a couple of steps behind. And it's not to discredit her. Yes, she's a former AEW champion, but she was champion during a time where there weren't that many women's wrestlers in the company that really were viewed as top stars. So you had no
Yeah,
choice but to put the title on her. If you're looking at the current landscape of AEW
like
right
she
now,
won it
she's
off
not there.
Nyla Rose. Like I know I'm not trying to dunk on Nyla Rose or anything, but like Nyla Rose is not like a main eventer,
No, because she hasn't
nor
really even
has
been on
she ever been.
AEW. She's never really been on AEW since dropping it. She's mainly been like a fixture on Ring of Honor
Yeah,
currently. So it's like that tells you something. That tells you
yeah.
that she's pretty much being
And
used to
then
help
when
people.
once Shida came in, Hikaru Shida came in, she took the title from Britt, and there's your top.
Yeah.
And she became the longest reigning until Tony, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because if you look at the current landscape of the women's division, you got Thunder Rosa in there. You got so many wrestlers. You got Willow there. You have Anna Jay. You got upcoming other stars. Like they
You
like
got Julia.
Harley Cameron, like Julia. You have what are some other good names that they're really pushing right now? I think
Oh
Taya
no,
Conti
Hikaru is
just recently
still
came in. I
longest
think Taya
reigning.
Conti just came back.
Oh
Um,
wait, no, I'm completely wrong. Okay, wow, Britt actually won it from Shida, which is crazy. But
yeah. I mean,
But
you
she
have,
don't went to Japan
and
anyway for a while.
I'm pretty sure once Athena is finished with this Ring of Honor stuff, she could really come over to AEW, really be a
Yeah.
great addition to that TBS title scene, or even the
So
main event.
my pick originally was unironic. It was Thunder Rosa, just because I thought that would be a nice fresh face. It could be someone that could really work well with Mercedes. But now that I think about it, just because I think it would be really interesting, and Mercedes has been mentioning it a fair bit, I'd say Athena.
Athena's being the, I mean, the only way that would work, she would have to be a face because right now she's currently working as a heel,
Yeah,
so
she if she
her gimmick would
like
have to
what's it called? Once
change.
she loses the title, Ring of Honor Women's title, she goes back up to AEW, challenges and turns face to challenge Mercedes.
I mean, yeah, I would love to see that match because I think they would actually put on a great match. I think the thing is, if we're going to see that match, something's going to have to change. Something's going to have to give. We're probably going to have to see her shift her character just a little bit and have her be more of a face, considering that she's working as a heel with her and the faction that she's got
Literally,
going
just
on.
have her just lean into the whole longest reigning ROH any champion ever thing. Just have her brag about that and just and like have people, and I'm sure people will easily be excited for her because of
Yeah,
how
she's
much
putting that title on.
Athena's carried ROH.
She's really the main one that's carrying, and that's no
Yeah,
disrespect to anybody else that's there. I mean, but then again, we need some more star power on AEW if we're going to fill out these divisions for the main event
yeah.
scene and the mid card scene. We need more believable characters to get behind to really buy into, to where it's like, okay, we know they have a legit chance to win these championships. But if you're looking at it right now, it doesn't seem like that. It's probably like one or two, and that's it. Especially
Yeah.
for Mercedes Monet, it's either going to be Camille, it's probably can be Willow, and then like you said, I think if she can come in and be a baby face or lean
I
into
think
being
it's
more being
possible
favorited.
that Thunder Rosa could maybe come in and beat Mercedes, especially if they want her to. But I don't know.
It's going to take a lot of time for that to happen.
Yeah,
But on to the next championship, the TNT championship currently held by the scapegoat Jack Perry. I think they kind of already kind of spilled the beans, I would say, at least speculating who's probably gonna be the one to take the title, especially what
yeah,
we see at Wrestle Dream. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Daniel Garcia. I think Daniel
yeah.
Garcia is gonna
It
probably be
has
the
to
one
be
to take the title
Garcia.
from him.
Uh,
If they have this match and Daniel Garcia loses, then I don't know what they're doing. It's like you just re-signed
there's
AEW
only
for no
one
reason.
person that I think would probably take it if they don't give it to Garcia, and he's out for probably half a year more, and that's the Rated R Superstar. Uh,
Yeah, I don't think he's well. He got injured.
because
Was
I
it Double or
could
Nothing?
very well see them wanting to do Adam Copeland versus Jack Perry.
But
So
that doesn't really necessarily need to be like a title feud. That can be more like a
yeah,
passing of the torch if you want it to be.
yeah.
Because he got injured at I think Double or Nothing,
Hmm.
so that kind of puts his return maybe around maybe World's End, or maybe you want to do it in January and stuff like that. You could.
Revolution minimum.
Yeah, I think at the latest, I would say Revolution for sure. But I think Daniel Garcia, he's definitely been very impressive. I think this has really been a coming out year for him. He's been putting up some great matches. The match that he had with MJF, I'm pretty sure they're gonna run that back, and I'm pretty sure this time you have um Daniel Garcia get the win over MJF finally, and you can have him carry that momentum into the TNT title scene, into that match with Jack Perry, which I think he's ultimately going to win. And I'm pretty sure that crowd is going to erupt when he does win because he's like one of the most over stars in that entire company. So I think he's definitely improving, and especially with the time that he's had in AW, where he's gotten very close to winning it, only for him not to. I mean, the match that he had with Adam Copeland was really good. If you want Adam Copeland to come back and he turns heel at some point, you can revisit that for sure, which I think is really going to be a good match. Um, so I'm gonna have to go Daniel Garcia on this one. And I'm pretty sure you say your ingredients as well. Daniel Garcia to be your next TNT champion. On to the next title we're gonna be talking about is the AEW Tag Team Champions. currently held by the Young Bucks. They recently had a successful title defense against Private Party, which was really a good match. That's probably one of my favorite matches from the Young Bucks since being in AEW. Their chemistry with each other is really unmatched, and we see it time and time again every time that they share the ring together. And this was no different. And I think when we see them fight again, I think it's really gonna be something very special. Who do I think is gonna win though? I'm gonna say it. I think Private Party are going to be the next tag team champions. I think if they can create a compelling story and create a groundswell of, because the fans were behind it. They were cheering them even though they lost and everything like that. If they can carry that momentum and create another great story to where they can compete again for the tag titles, because I'm pretty sure that Full Gear is going to be in their backyard, so you can create a longer story between the two, and maybe you have them win it there. But at the same time, you also kind of have Top Flight lingering around the tag titles as well, so you maybe have those two in the mix. I really like the fact that we're kind of starting to see maybe the first few steps of them kind of get away from having FTR on the forefront and then having the Acclaim in the forefront. Maybe we're starting to see that maybe the tides are turning and actually giving more tag teams that really deserve shine actual time to actually do something really special. So maybe if you do put the tag titles on Private Party, this can act as a new era for the tag team division.
So funny story. I don't know if you saw, but there was a report regarding like Wrestle Dream that there were people in AEW pushing for Private Party to win at Wrestle Dream.
I did see that, yeah.
And then
I
the
think they
Bugs
changed it for last
squad
minute.
tweeted that. Do you want to guess what they said?
What did they say? I'm pretty sure it was something
That
crazy.
doesn't work for us, brother.
They're playing up the heel to the maximum degree. They
Yeah.
really are. They really are.
So, mine is I kind of don't see any other direction for this. I kind of it's a little more of the obvious choice, and it's I don't know if people will like it, but I will say, given what he's advocated for Wrestle Dynasty, which is a January crossover pay per view thing that New Japan, CMLL, ROH, AEW, all of them
Yep.
have. I will say Kenny Omega and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
I can see that. I can see that because I was thinking maybe you probably was gonna have the Continental title on Autopilot, and then maybe Kenny beats Okada for it. I can
Yeah, I
see
mean,
that them
I
doing
was
something like
thinking
that.
either it would be Kenny and Ibushi taking from Bucks, and then Tanahashi takes from Okada, or Ibushi take. But I thought, given what Omega wants to do for Wrestle Dynasty, and given that it's Tanahashi's last year, basically, I can see
Yeah,
Omega and Tanahashi actually winning at Wrestle Dynasty, getting
yeah,
the
that's gonna be a
AEW
big deal.
title. Yeah,
That's really gonna be a big deal for
yeah.
sure. Moving on to the AEW Women's World Championship, currently held by Mariah May. Um, I really wanted to say Willow deserves to be the one. I thought they were going to, just because I thought with Mariah May, I feel like not every title reign that we're gonna get in AEW needs to be a long one. I think we need some transitional reigns in there. We need some shorter reigns, and I think as much as Mariah has put in, I think she still comes off as someone that I don't think is gonna have a long reign. I think she's probably gonna have like a transitional, maybe like hold the title for like 3, 4 months, and that's about it. Um, I mean, there's really not a current. There's as of right now, there's really not a lot of women that I can really say are believable right now, and that's the sad part about the women's division. Not a lot of them come off as believable when they're put in these positions to go after titles. Um, Mariah is champion. I think when you look at her current competitors, possibly. I mean, you have Willow, you have Jamie Hayter. Maybe you want to do Tony Storm, but that's about the only three that I can really think of right now. Um, if I had to pick one, I'm gonna say probably Jamie Hayter's probably gonna be the one to dethrone Mariah May. I know the current speculation right now is to have Mariah and Tony go at it when they for their New England show or something like that. I think they're gonna be in Australia in February.
Australia, yeah.
So I think you're gonna have that match, of course, but I don't think you need to give the title back to Tony Storm because what is that doing? That's not really doing anything. That's kind of just like taking a step back, if anything. Um, so I'm gonna say Jamie Hayter's probably gonna be your next AEW Women's World Champion. But Wolf, who do you have as your next
I
AEW Women's
will
World Champion?
say also Jamie Hayter. She like people were excited that she's back. I was excited that she's back, and it's for a reason because um Jamie has been easily one of the most talented what's it called woman in AEW, pretty much AEW history. Like her title reign, despite not being like too long, it was still like a very, in my opinion, a very memorable reign. Like people like could tell she was the top woman, and she showed it every week, like all the time. And so, like, yeah, I would say, uh, Jamie absolutely deserves another title reign.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. And finally, the AEW World Championship, currently held by the new AEW champion, the four-time AEW champion, John Moxley, who won it from Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson's full-time career is over. Um, I did see a report, and I don't know if you saw this, Wolf. Bryan Danielson, he was the one that wanted Moxley to win. He
Yeah,
wanted Moxley to win, and I think if you're looking at Moxley, he is one of the biggest stars in AEW right now. With a lot of them being out, he's pretty much been the go-to guy for years now. And I've been saying this for a while. If you're going to establish this new iteration of John Moxley as a heel, granted he was supposed to be a heel 2 years ago, but the reason why that didn't happen because he did go into rehab, so that kind of pushed plans back a bit. And when he came back, they couldn't automatically turn him heel because people were going to be happy to see him after being away for so long. So they had to wait for the perfect time to do it, and they did it. And everything like that not too long ago. And here's the thing, they kind of already kind of set it up where he was probably going to win anyway. Because if you look at All In when he won it from Swerve, who was the only one that wasn't there? John Moxley was the only one that wasn't there. So they were kind of already telling you that was probably going to happen. And then he's been dealing with a lot of injuries. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries as of late to the point he can't even sleep. And that's saying something. You cannot put a lot of stress on your current champion if he's not 100% to go and give people the best match they can night in and night out. Now, the match that they had was really good. I really liked the spots that they did. I mean, it kind of already gave me flashbacks to Anarchy and Arena because they were having Bryan Danielson's theme song kind of play for a little bit throughout the match. So that was kind of a cool uh flashback for sure for me. Um, who do I think is going to beat him? I think it's really going to come down to this one guy, and I'm going to say Darby Allin is the guy that's probably going to be your next AEW World Champion. How I think they're going to do this, if you look at how they closed the show, they had a lot of people come out there, and I feel like what we're going to do, I feel like John Mox is not going to have a short reign. He's probably going to have a lengthy reign, unfortunately, because the way they set it up, if you look at a lot of people that came out there, you have Jeff Jarrett came out there, you had Adam Cole come out there, you had Private Party come out there, you had Orange Cassidy, and you had Darby Allin. Those are six people right there. I feel like within his time, we're gonna have at least four of those people have title opportunities against John Moxley and fail. I really think that's what we're leading to. I feel like in his run, I don't like to make this comparison, but this is probably going to be the current day version of the Reign of Terror. I feel like John Mox is going to go on a Reign of Terror with this AEW World Championship and go through a lot of people that people want to see beat him and not beat him in the end game. I feel like they're going to give us this long road, of long term storytelling to where Darby Allin has to scratch and claw his way to the top, going through some ultimate tests to really get back to John Moxley. He's gonna have to go through adversity, if you will. He's gonna have to go through a lot of his colleagues to get to that title. He's gonna have to go through the Blackpool Combat Cup even in itself to get to John Moxley because John Moxley is the head of this new iteration of the Blackpool Combat Club. And I said this earlier, that not only did you need him to win the championship to establish this new iteration of John Moxley's character, but you also needed to establish him as the leader of this new iteration of the Blackpool Combat Club. So if you want to, you're killing two birds with one stone by making him the champion because you're establishing this new group as something to be taken serious, and you're taking him serious once again because now this is a different John Moxley as champion than we were accustomed to before when he was AW World Champion a couple of months ago. So I'm gonna say Darby Allin is gonna probably be the guy that's gonna take the title from John Moxley. But Wolf, who do you think is going to be the next AEW World Champion?
So there are parts of what you said that I completely disagree with.
Hmm.
My pick is Darby Allin, of course.
Okay.
I I heavily disagree with Moxley having a long reign. In fact, I do not think he should because I don't think he needs it, and I don't think it's not. I don't think it's really necessary. So I, and maybe I'm crazy for saying this, but in my opinion, no later than Full Gear. Full Gear, Darby should win the title.
I don't know, because
I'm
John
sorry,
Moxley. I mean,
I
yes, I
don't
mean,
see
yes,
the need.
I can
I
see it
think Darby,
because
because
the only way I can
maybe
see
if
it.
they want to do like for me, I think it's clear. I think it's clear where the the
Yeah,
pathway for this world championship is going. It's gonna be the next two champions are gonna be Darby Allin and Christian Cage. Like Christian is basically guaranteed to be world champion. If anything, I'd save the long reign for Christian because if you want Christian to do the same thing for the world title that he did with the TNT title, you're gonna give him that long reign. There is no need for Moxley to get that long reign.
because how I see
So
this
if
gonna
you
happen, because I think Moxley's gonna have it, and I'm pretty sure Darby's gonna win it from him, and I think
Darby should win it from him,
Christian
absolutely
Cage is gonna come in when he's
cash in
celebrating
on
and then
Darby.
cash in and then wins. But I don't think Christian Cage is gonna have. Oh, he's gonna have maybe. I don't see him have a lengthy reign, but he's gonna have a reign with the
He's not
title.
gonna have as long as the TNT title,
No, I
probably.
can see
He'll
maybe like
probably
three,
have
four
like a
months,
3 month reign, probably or 4 month reign minimum.
and then I
He'll
can
probably
see
have like a
Darby taking
100K
it back,
maybe.
taking it from because I think Darby's gonna be the one to take it from Christian when Christian takes it from him. So that's how I see it.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
And then maybe when you get Darby as champion, then that's where you can reinsert none other than Hangman. And then when you do Hangman, maybe you have Adam Cole kind of come in there. That's how I see it.
Maybe. I don't know. All I know is the next two champions are going to be Darby Allin and Christian Cage. In my opinion, we should save the long reign for Christian because Christian would absolutely do wonderful work for the AEW World Championship, and I think could do way better work than John Moxley can. Because honestly, John has already been has been 3-time world champion before this.
Yeah.
He really doesn't need, in my opinion, like I had a feeling, given how much Brian was talking about his injuries and how much he needs surgery and whatnot, I had a feeling, and knowing Brian's nature, I knew he was going to choose to have Moxley take it from him. But, like, honestly, in my opinion, I would have not given the world champion to Moxley. In fact, I don't think Moxley ever needs the AEW World Championship ever again.
That's a hot take if I've ever
Yeah,
seen. But knowing John
I really
Moxley
don't think
being,
he does.
because I kind of
In
view
my
John
opinion, I
Moxley,
don't. So, like, yeah, honestly, like, he doesn't. I'm sure he will get. He'll probably get more than just this time, but he'll probably be like
yeah,
5, 6 time world champion. But in my opinion, in terms of needing it, John is like probably the last person who needs it, and like ever again, because he's won like
yeah.
everything at this point.
Not
Um,
well. There's some titles he hasn't won yet because he still hasn't won the
Yeah,
world
like
titles. He's never won the
maybe he
international or
can win like the
TNT. Well, he's won
continental
international,
title or something.
or maybe like gets his hands on the TNT title, or maybe
Maybe, but like
tag
he's
claim.
already been champion for a fair few times, so I don't think he
But
really
it's
needs it
really just how
ever
the
again.
faction's set up, though, because You have the trios champions like in
I
Claudio, Pac, and
understand anything.
Wheeler. Yeah,
The thing is, we kind of know how the factions like. We know like how good they all are. We know how good Moxley is. We know how good Claudio is. We know how good Pac is. If there's anyone who needs a title, who needs to establish
it
dominance
was
and
the
show,
singles.
and who needs dominance, who needs to showcase how like dangerous they are,
It's Wheeler.
it's
Yeah,
Marina. It's Marina Shafir. She needs a title. Because if she
but
doesn't get
she
a hell, if we didn't have a heel champion right now, if we had, let's say,
like a Pluto.
Willow or
Yeah,
Mariah, if we had Willow as champion, and you gave us Willow versus Marina Shafir, I would straight up say, give Marina Shafir the women's world title.
or the TBS at least. You got to at least give her the
Yeah.
TBS if she's not gonna win that.
But at this point, since like almost all the championships are heels, really the only championship she can take is the ROH TV title, which is fine. ROH Women's TV title. She is a
Yeah,
consistent
because
part of
she's
ROH.
been yeah she's been a big
She's
part
been in
of there.
ROH. I think that this title would be perfect for her.
And I think
Um,
the main problem people
beating
talk
Red
about with
Velvet is like not like
not a hard thing, not a
not
hard
a hard
task
thing,
at
not
all
like
for her.
unrealistic for her to do.
I just think that the thing people have been complaining about is her, like, where she hasn't really done anything or just people aren't really investing in her, I think. And I kind of can agree from that point. I think she just needs something to really stick her teeth into that the fans can get behind. Because when I always was clamoring for a woman to be part of the faction, and Marina Shafir was not on my bucket list to potentially be part of the faction. If anybody, I was saying probably a Serena D probably would have been a great addition to this faction. But
I'm not
um,
surprised it's Marina because like everyone in BCC kept saying they like, oh, Marina would be a perfect fit in BCC. So I
yeah, I
had a
did hear that
feeling,
too. I really think that's what's gonna happen is they're gonna create some compelling stories, but I think right now she's been kind of as much as a bodyguard for the faction. I mean, kind
yeah,
of assisting them. So maybe within the next couple of upcoming weeks, maybe they do something with her because I would love to
maybe
see if she can. Because I think they have a Ring of Honor preview coming up. I think in December or something like that, for like Final Battle. Maybe
yeah,
she could win it the Ring of Honor television
TV
title
time.
there, and then she can show up, and then you can have that visual where
Yeah,
all members of the Blackpool Combat Club are champions. You got Mox as champion, you got the Trios champion, then you have Marina as champion. So I think
yeah.
that would be the
If
cool
anything, you
visual.
don't even need to wait for the pay per view. You can just have her beat Red Velvet like at any point and just have that visual. But in my opinion, at the very latest, World's End Darby has to win the title. World's End is generous for me, but I can live with it. If it's World's End, Darby wins from Moxley, fine. But in my opinion, it should be Full Gear because we literally basically robbed away his world title shot for no reason. Um, just
Well,
so we can have Nigel versus Brian, which
it's a good match, and they kind of
it's a
already were
good
kind of
match,
showing that
but
he's gonna
like
lose.
we really need to like rob that away from like
I
we
wouldn't
we
say
didn't
he's
even need
robbed,
him to
but
be world champion for
I wouldn't even
no.
say he was robbed. I feel like they were just trying to create a compelling story because if you're already looking at Brian Daniels' reign, they were kind of already telling you that he wasn't going to hold the title and probably going to lose to Mox anyway because the way they were, spamming these dream matches. Um, like the match with Okada, they were spamming that. They were spamming a lot of these dream matches that we wanted to see on pay-per-views on Dynamite. So we were kind of already seeing that they were probably trying to get all the big ones out of the way because I don't
Yeah,
think people wanted me personally, if he was gonna hold the title for a lengthy part of time, maybe at least until probably like the pay per view with AEW and New Japan. Maybe that was the longest I probably could have seen him holding
yeah.
that title. But I think now gives him a time to kind of step back and get the treatment that he
Get
needs,
the
and then maybe if he
surgery,
can
stay with his family. Right now, there's
exactly, and if
no
he wants to
plans
come
for him to
back,
come back and wrestle like anytime soon. So
yeah, and I
know,
think maybe
which
you
is
can have
fine.
him
I
finish
don't
the story.
mind. I had a feeling we were gonna get Mox and Brian. Um, Honestly, I thought it would be really, honestly, more interesting if Brian won because Brian has never beaten Moxley for the world title. and I thought it would be like another like big moment for Brian. But Brian technically doesn't need any more of those. So
No,
I understand giving it to Mox, but really I still don't like that we just kind of took away Darby's shot just while on the same show he was supposed to face Brian. Brian still wrestles against Nigel. Like I don't know. I think it was just a matter of bad timing or something, but
yeah,
I really think, yeah, if it were up to me, which it's not, I honestly think Full Gear, Darby versus Mox, Darby wins. You can have, and then Christian cashes in at Full Gear, and maybe you have Christian versus Darby at World's End, or
maybe
if you,
Darby can get the title then, because we
yeah,
know
or if you
Darby
want
and
to
Christian Cage
wait,
have
you
a
can
lot of
have
history.
Darby. You can wait for, until Revolution, and then you do Christian Darby,
Because
and then
we know that Darby and Christian Cage have a lot of history with each other. So I
yeah,
really think revisiting that and now it being for the world championship, I think it would be very cool to see
yeah,
for sure.
right. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I really, I still think like Darby needs to win the title as soon as possible. If he doesn't, um, I'm gonna be very disappointed. But at the very least, Darby can never go back to mid card level ever. It cannot go after
Unless he's facing some
unless
main
he's
eventers
facing a
like
main
an
event
Okada.
talent
Like if
like
he's facing someone like an
Okada,
Okada for
like
the Continental, then okay.
Osprey, like if Osprey like wins a singles title or Jay wins a singles title, then like
Then
he
okay,
can
yeah.
face those kind of people or Hangman, whatever. He
That would
can
be a good
face those.
match.
He could face those kind of people, but like okay for like this matchup will probably happen again because this is basically a forever feud between them. But anytime soon, I don't want to see like Darby versus Brody again. I don't
No,
want to
not
see
anytime
Darby
soon.
versus Jack again. I don't want
Yeah, not anytime soon. Definitely not anytime
like
soon.
I don't want Darby versus like Roosh or something. Like no, he needs to face like the top people in AEW, like Adam Cole, like MJF, like um what's it called Jay White, like Hangman, um what's it called, like Okada, like Osprey, like those kind of people he needs to face. Hell, maybe Takeshita would be fine. Takeshita would,
I can see that too.
yeah,
I can definitely
like
see that.
if he wins the world title and then gets cashed in on by Christian and then decides, okay, we're gonna go after Takeshita for the international title, that's probably fine because Takeshita is, I would say, on that level, even though he hasn't been booked as such. Um,
Yeah. They're
I
really
just
just getting around to that with Takeshita.
yeah,
I feel like they're
yeah,
just getting around
just
to it.
getting around to that. But like those are the kind of people I want Darby to face. I don't want him to randomly fight or like people he's had history with. Like Joe would be a good matchup. I don't mind revisiting Darby Joe. I don't mind uh revisiting um what's it called? I don't know who else he's faced really. Um
Um,
yeah.
not that many though. But I think another good match. I think if we're going back to where we were talking about the Continental, Osprey and Okada for the Continental, I think that'd be a
It would be
really
good.
compelling match. Because I think it gives people that like that New Japan just feel for sure, just because we know what they're both are capable of doing. So I mean, like you said, I don't know how John Moxley's reign is gonna really pan out. We're just starting to get into the how his fourth reign is gonna really be. We'll probably get some answers and probably within the next hour or so because that's when AEW is gonna go on air. So maybe we'll get some answers as far as maybe what his next challenge is gonna be, what his direction is his character is really gonna be as far as being the new champion. Are we gonna get any answers of what how why they stuffed the title in the bag? Are we going to get a new design for the championship? Are we going to figure out who is has the Blackpool Comedy Club and especially Moxie been answering to? Are we going to get any answers to that? I think those are some answers that I want to possibly be answered when we have AEW tonight. So we will just have to see. But that was who we think should dethrone every current AEW champion. We're probably gonna do another video just like this one very, very soon. Maybe we'll do some New Japan stuff. Maybe we'll do Ring of Honor. Maybe TNA. I think we should probably do maybe very, very soon. So y'all stay tuned for that. But y'all like, comment, subscribe to our channel. We're still on the road to 50 subscribers, but the ultimate goal is trying to get to 100 by the end of the year. I know we can do it. Wolf, do you have anything to share before we head out?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so like with that being said, from Wolf, from myself, even though he's not here, from Willie as well. This has pretty much been your recent episode of Bringing It to the Ring, and we'll see you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.